We some wolves, got the pack and it's boof. Wish you would pick the slack cause it's loose. Get the bag, pop the tag, then we move.
Sorry about that. You must have been wearing my
noise canceling
Beats by Dre headphones.
So I want you to think back to about a decade ago. If you didn't own a pair of Beats headphones and instead still use these cheap little plastic earbuds, let's be honest, you weren't very cool. Because back at the time, Beats by Dre were the hottest audio products on the market, and it seemed like literally everybody had some. Not only due to their unique, stylish, and borderline fashion accessory headphones, but also because almost every celebrity would be seen with a pair of Beats on their head, along with constantly appearing in some of the biggest music videos at the time, as the company's marketing plan was simply to get some of the most influential athletes, rappers, singers, and again just overall celebrities to wear their headphones, thus enticing consumers to buy a pair in order to look and feel more like their idols. And that approach worked to perfection, as again not only were Beats by Dre the hottest headphones out, raking in almost $1 billion a year and at one point even securing 70% of the high-end headphone market, but Beats were so popular that even buying a pair of fakes was something people would do if they wanted to be cool.
Which I'll admit, even I've had a few pairs of fake Beats in my life.
But what happened to Beats by Dre? Well, in this video, we'll first see how Beats was able to become the headphone giant that they once were, see the real reason why they don't release nearly as many new Beats products or market nearly as much as they once did, as well as also see exactly how Apple's purchase of the company in 2014 for an astonishing $3 billion, still the largest acquisition in Apple history, would actually mark the beginning of the end for Beats Electronics, as Apple basically bought out the company to eliminate them as competition, then would use the technology to create their own audio products, as they literally forgot about Dre. So let's get into it. The downfall of Beats by Dre headphones. So it all started back in the year of 2006, when Compton rapper and record producer Dr. Dre noticed two key problems in the music industry. Alongside his longtime business partner Jimmy Iovine, who is actually the co-founder of the record label Interscope Records, the two would notice first of all the impact of record sales due to the growing trend of people pirating music, as well as second, the growing trend of degrading audio quality, mainly due to Apple's plastic earbuds. As Dre would say in an interview, Apple was selling $400 iPods with only $1 earbuds. It's one thing that people steal my music, it's another thing to destroy the feeling of what I've worked on. People aren't hearing all the music. Artists and producers work hard in the studio perfecting their sound, but people can't really hear it with little earbuds. But interestingly enough, the idea of starting his own audio brand and selling headphones wasn't even a thought of Dre's at the time. Instead, it was selling sneakers. And back in 2006, Dr. Dre actually had an offer from a major shoe company to start a shoe line with him. However, after he would approach his partner Jimmy Iovine for some advice, Iovine had a different idea. Since the two were already veterans in the music industry, and again had noticed some much needed areas of improvement in the headphone department, Iovine thought, why not start our own audio company and sell our own headphones, but market them as basically sneakers for your head. And the idea for Beats by Dre was formed.
Because he was going on about that 50 Cent was selling millions of sneakers. So I said, Dre, man, this is not us. Nobody cares what sneakers you wear. Screw sneakers. Let's do speakers. Let's get into sound.
So after the Beats by Dre company was officially established in 2006, they would debut their first product 2 years later, the Beats by Dre Studio headphones on July 25, 2008. With the slogan, people aren't hearing all the music. With Beats, people are going to hear what the artist hear and listen to the music the way they should. The way I do.
No, I'm basically just standing behind sound, you know what I mean? I'm not that deep into fashion or anything like that, so I don't think I'll be able to do that to my best ability. So sound, I know that, you know what I mean? So I can always make something sound, you know what I mean? So that's why this was such a perfect fit, and it just feels organic.
However, these Beats by Dre headphones were met with low reviews from critics right out of the gate, with many people complaining about the poor sound quality along with them having way too much bass. Although that was actually something the designers did on purpose, as Dre and Jimmy Iovine had specifically envisioned all Beats products to have this deep sound profile that was truly designed for hip-hop. Because, as they said, when kids listen to music, they want to hear it like they hear it in the club. So despite no one who really worked in music production and cared about sound accuracy used Beats headphones, their decision to go with that more boomy, bass-heavy profile would actually entice consumers, since the majority were listening to bass-heavy music anyway. And since a lot of these consumers had also never really tried over-the-ear headphones before, they sounded that much better to them. And the idea for headphones then became much more than these cheap little earbuds.
Dre and I both felt that headphones sounded sterile. We wanted it to sound exciting. So we said, if we make a headphone where the design is beautiful, and we make them cool enough, and we market them like they're either Guns N' Roses or Snoop Dogg or Tupac, I said, I think that'll work.
However, when the first pair of Beats by Dre headphones hit the stores in 2008, not only were they priced at $350, a huge jump from other headphones at the time, but Beats also debuted in the middle of a great recession, so getting retailers to first sign on was not easy. So instead, Dre and Iovine took a different marketing approach for their product. As the two already had several high-profile connections, they began relying heavily on celebrity endorsements. And with very few artists universally respected as much as Dr. Dre, these celebrities he would send headphones to would then lead to Beats popping up everywhere you looked. Their marketing concept was simple, as almost every famous musician and athlete in the world was rocking a pair of Beats headphones that would then lead to consumers buying them so they could look more like their idols. So then you began seeing Beats on some of the world's most influential celebrities, including Wayne Rooney, Serena Williams, and Kevin Garnett, as well as also starting to provide customized pairs for people like Justin Bieber, Nicki Minaj, and Lil Wayne, really targeting the young adult demographics. And then, as we would also see in that same year, after Jimmy Iovine would first send LeBron James a pair to try out, to which he loved, Beats would then also appear on the ears of every member of the 2008 US Olympic basketball team. Now that's marketing, Iovine said. But again, Beats were not the best sounding headphones in terms of audio quality at all. But instead, what made Beats by Dre such a hit was their design and how they looked when consumers wore them. The company realized that even if you had top-of-the-line headphones with amazing sound, if they did not look appealing and stylish, then no one would want to wear them publicly or use them every day. Also, going back to their idea of trying to market Beats as sneakers for your head, they would basically become a fashion accessory, along with also appearing in hundreds of Interscope music videos due to Jimmy Iovine again being a co-founder of the label. Beats by Dre would quickly become the hottest headphones out, despite some of the artists not even knowing what they were but still being forced to include them in their videos. Then, in the following years, as they kept growing and releasing new products, including a few variations to their over-the-ear headphones, their new Power Beats line, their new portable speaker, the Beats Pill, and even a new music streaming service called Beats Music, the Beats Electronics company was bringing in almost $1 billion a year in revenue, and also controlled over 70% of the entire headphone market. However, that would all change on May 28, 2014, when Apple would acquire Beats Electronics for $3 billion in a cash-and-stock deal, still the largest acquisition in Apple's history.
It came out like 2 weeks ago. They need to update the Forbes list. Shit just changed.
In a big way.
Oh my.
Understand that. Oh my. The first billionaire in hip hop, right here from the motherfucking West Coast. Believe it.
Oh shit, nigga.
With Apple being the tech giant that they are, back at this time in 2014, they decided that they wanted to venture into the audio department. And after realizing that they would have to get ahead of their competition, which was Beats, Apple would instead choose to go a different route and simply buy out their competition. And at first, Apple was criticized for this acquisition, due to again Beats' bad reputation for sound quality. With Jimmy actually being the one to initiate the deal, the Beats music streaming service was also a huge factor in it as well.
How did that deal come together? Who made the initial overtures?
Me.
So you saw this
Yeah.
before they did. Okay.
Well, I know them, and they just weren't ready to get into streaming. They didn't need a headphone company, and so they wanted to get into streaming. And eventually, we agreed that we could do this together.
Beats Music had launched a few months prior in January of 2014 and was a subscription-based music service which emphasized recommendations by music professionals alongside algorithmic recommendations. However, following the purchase of the company by Apple, Beats Music was discontinued after the launch of Apple Music in June of 2015, which Jimmy Iovine also played a big hand in developing. So then, just a year later was when Apple began their own rise to the top of the headphone market, after the announcement of their new AirPods on September 7, 2016.
And it makes no sense to tether ourselves with cables to our mobile devices. Well, our team at Apple has worked so hard to create something new that delivers on the opportunity of how good a wireless experience can be. So that is why today we are so excited to show you a new product from Apple called Apple AirPods.
After seeing that wireless technology and specifically wireless headphones were going to be the new wave, Apple not only announced their new wireless AirPods during the September event, but also spent an entire hour announcing that their new iPhone 7 was going to be the first iPhone without a headphone jack.
And with iPhone 7 and 7 Plus, we're moving to connecting them over Lightning. Well, why over Lightning? Well, first, you may not remember, I certainly do, but from the start, we designed Lightning to be a great digital audio connector.
So by removing the headphone jack on the world's most popular phone, this was basically a way to ensure that people would want to buy new wireless headphones instead, specifically Apple AirPods. Now they did also announce an adapter to still connect any wired headphones, but it was way cooler to connect via Bluetooth and cords were becoming a thing of the past. Then, with their biggest competition now literally under their control, the coast was clear for Apple to take over at the top, as Apple is currently the largest seller of audio products today. And as for the Beats by Dre brand, they are now just a subsidiary of Apple. It seemed almost as if Apple was aware of the poor reputation Beats had in the audio community in terms of sound, then decided to distance themselves from the brand and instead show that their own new products were different and much better. And as you can even see here in this comparison, Apple also went away from that signature bass-heavy sound that Beats had, and instead went for a more accurate frequency with their AirPods. Then, as we would also see back in 2020, Apple would announce their new AirPods Max, by far the most expensive option in the AirPods lineup, and which also basically replaced the over-the-ear Beats Studios. However, Apple's not dumb. They weren't going to just completely abandon such a big brand and big name that Beats by Dre was. So they have released a few new Beats products since buying the company, but had gone years without releasing anything. And to be honest, these new products, despite them receiving better reviews, really just seem like filler products to tire over old fans, and definitely aren't marketed anywhere near as much as they used to. Like, just looking here at the Apple website, there's this big tab up here for AirPods, but then you literally have to search for Beats by Dre if you want to find them. And even still, with their new Studio 3s priced at $350, I have a pair of these and I can confirm that there are more durable and much better sounding headphone options available for even lower the cost. I do like that they are wireless, and most of the time I am listening to bass-heavy music, but I also never use these if I am mixing my music and want to hear an accurate sound. Now, it was interesting, though, last year in 2021 when Apple announced their new Beats Wireless Studio Buds, because these were the first headphones from Apple that were basically designed to work just as well with an Android device as with an Apple one. These new Studio Buds did not include Apple's H1 chip, which made it very easy to connect to iOS devices, and also switched to a USB-C charger instead of their previously used Lightning cables. So it not only seemed like Apple's attempt to still still get Android users to buy their products, but also made it seem like they are now pushing the Beats by Dre image as more of a sport and workout headphone. But other than that, it's honestly like Apple doesn't really care if the Beats by Dre name flops any further. They got what they needed from them, eliminated them as competition, basically copied Beats' marketing plan, then used that technology to advance their own products. As again, Apple is currently the largest seller of audio products today. But what about Jimmy Iovine and Dr. Dre? Well, following Apple's purchase of the company in 2014, Jimmy Iovine was hired to assume an undisclosed position at Apple, where he again went on to help in the creation of Apple Music. And as for Dr. Dre, he was also hired as an executive employee following the acquisition. And back in 2018, a video series Dre was working on for Apple TV was actually shelved before it even released by Apple CEO Tim Cook, after he grew concerned over its heavy focus on violence and drug use. But in the end, it's just kind of crazy to think that Apple essentially spent billions of dollars to buy Beats by Dre, only to eliminate them as competition. Now, who knows if they have any plans to revive the brand and release any new big products, but at the moment it's not looking too likely. Instead, it seems that Apple, like a lot of us, forgot about Beats by Dre.